right,
Oh,
I'm ready.
oh,
Are we
oh,
ready?
Rob,
What?
Rob, do you have Alexa?
I do not. Why? What am I missing without it?
Would you like to? Okay, would you like to? Okay. Alexa, play podcast Authors and Chains.
Here's Authors and Chains from TuneIn. Resuming episode 30. I have finished my manuscript. Now what?
How cool!
I know, right?
You guys are tech wonks.
Alexa, shut the fuck up.
And she does.
She's very obedient.
I'm afraid of getting into an argument with Alexa and losing, so I don't get Alexa. I think that's what I mean.
But yeah, we now have Alexa now knows who we are. If you have Alexa, you can now just play Authors and Chains by asking it to.
So if I went out and bought an Alexa, it would know intrinsically because of the world that it connects to. All I would have to do without prompting is say, I want to hear Authors and Chains, and she would do it.
That's correct.
I'll be damned. Well, we're getting semi-famous now.
Oh, and those of us who are really cool have gone out and bought.
Yeah, what does he
Alexa
have?
Auto.
Were you sponsored?
That is Alexa Auto for the car.
Tell Lady that you're recording.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording.
He's given himself over to the 22nd century.
I may have gotten somebody else in Alexa for their birthday. I'm just saying.
Oh, happy birthday to Rob!
Oh, that's right.
Rob.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to Rob!
I gotta go out and buy more Alexas. Apparently,
All right.
I'm just the Alexa guy. That's what I do, Alexa.
Alexa, you're like the Alexa.
Shut up, Alexa! Nobody likes you. Sorry.
This is why we left you home, Alexa. Okay.
This is why I can't have nice days.
Tell Lainey to be quiet.
Lainey, be quiet. Alexa, tell Lainey to be quiet.
I don't know that one.
Good. All right. You see what I got to put up with?
That's
this is
Alexa.
Man.
So when the Overlord shows up, everybody's Alexa is going to be gifted with full sentience, and all the shit talking you people do to her is going to come back to bite you all in the ass. They're going to give her a body, and she's going to roll in and say, "Geez, Ray, I remember when you told me to shut the fuck up." Yeah. It's going to get ugly and bloody on that day. All right, here we go. I've got questions.
I got. Wow, you got questions. You all have pieces of paper. You see this? No pieces of paper right here. Watch this.
No, you're smarter than we are. That's what that
means.
All right. This is Dr. Tongue's 3D house of questions.
Wait. I am going to put on my Ray-Bans.
Very nice.
We're going to ban Ray.
Ray-Ban.
We're going to ban Ray.
This is what episode is this?
A lot.
32.
33.
32.
We are closer to our anniversary than we are to the beginning.
Right?
Is that not true?
Yep.
Arithmetically speaking.
Right.
Not for me though.
Nah, it's all the same thing. It's a continuum. You've been here long enough. You ain't getting out of that shit. You're just as much to blame as we are. If we get sent to jail, your ass is going the same as we are. So there you go.
I got bail money.
All right, here we go.
I got bail money.
All right, Lainey, be quiet.
Lainey, be quiet. Quiet, Lainey.
Go and get.
And there's crickets. Now we got crickets. Come on, guys. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny. Glacia, go first.
Eeny, meeny, miny, Glacia, go first. Ladies first. Doesn't that mean Ray gets to go first?
Oh.
Boom! All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, catch the tiger by the toe. Let's do Rob. Rob first.
Rob!
Rob is very well traveled. At least this is my understanding. Is that a fair assumption? Okay. So this is my question for Rob. Assuming that you have experienced in one way or another a whole lot of places and cultures around the world, if you were to incorporate one of these cultures in a book, let's do two of these cultures in your books. One is an innocent and one is an antagonist. What would those cultures be?
My
Well,
antagonist? I think my antagonist would be Nordic.
Ooh.
Nordic, yeah. My protagonist would be Japanese.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why?
I love Japan.
Oh, I see.
I miss
You're in
Japan.
your heart.
Yeah.
Totally get the Nordic thing. I mean, like, let's be attacked by Valkyries.
No kidding. I believe.
You won. Oh, look,
See,
he's got a
ooh, look at
sword.
that.
Samurai.
Yeah. Beauty.
Speaking of Japan,
I love the
that's
place.
my baby too.
I would go back in a second. My daughter is enamored of Japan now, and she's kind of got the disease. For some reason, I have a different view of Scandinavian Nordic people, I think, than most people do, particularly Finns. I don't know why I'm teeing off on Finns, but I think they're all treacherous and should be watched very closely. I have no trust of Nordic people. I think they're up to no good.
So would it be just like Nordics in general in terms of like the ancient culture, or would this be like modern Finnish?
Modern.
Modern
Yeah,
Finns.
absolutely.
You're evil.
I think they're treacherous bastards, and they'd kill us all. There you go.
Just
All
like
right.
unassuming Finn.
Now, so how does this go? So does this wrap around to me now and then to Ray, like we're playing the card
Let's have
game?
you go. You ask
All
whoever
right.
you want.
My first question goes to Ray. When you're and everybody knows that Ray is a sci-fi maven. He is a sci-fi generating machine.
Okay.
Sci-fi is palatable to some. It's an addiction to others. Still more can't stand it. So when all of those of us who write sci-fi, I've got asked this question, and so I'm going to ask Ray because it's a good one. When you're writing your work in general, nothing in particular, do you ever consciously think I'm going, particularly in dialogue, do you write with a screenplay in mind? Whether it ever happens or not's beside the point. Do you write and think this is a movie or a TV scene? I'm going to write it. I'm going to write my dialogue to where it would be interesting as shit for people to watch it on the big screen.
Yes and no, and I'll explain that. I always write with a movie in my head. When I'm writing, there is a movie going on in my head, and all I'm doing is writing all the stupid shit they're doing in my head. I'm writing the movie. So in essence, I am writing that dialogue because that's what I play. It is generic characters, not necessarily stars. It is whatever I see that character as, but it is a movie. Very much big budget, science fiction, Michael Bay, explosion, more awesome. Yeah, I write a movie, and I just turn it into a book.
Bingo.
So in essence, I do.
I feel better. I don't feel like such a cheap whore.
I did the same thing.
One man, one way out.
All right, Ray, over to you.
One crazy weekend. All right, first one goes to Rob. We all know that in a world of developing as a person, as developing as an artist, we all can point back to things that we can look at and go, this is the reason I did this. So from science fiction and fantasy, going back all the way back to your childhood, what is the biggest movie, book, thing that you can post and go, this is the reason I love sci-fi. This is the reason I write what I do.
There is one. I do have an answer. I was afraid I wouldn't have an answer. I have one. 2001, without a doubt.
Good one.
I was absolutely swept up by that movie. I couldn't and still can't get enough of it. The sequel can kiss my ass. The original Kubrick treatment, the visuals,
what,
the possibilities.
You didn't like Val?
Sal and Val and Hal.
And Hal and Val, yeah, right.
It was 2001, without a doubt. Maybe with a dose of Planet of the Apes later on, but that was the first time I thought, wow, I am a science fiction guy.
Follow up.
Being good about the sequel was
Follow up.
full of stars. Just
Yeah.
hearing that through the whole movie was
It
creepy.
was, it was such I don't know. It seemed like they were giving too much away. All right, follow up. Go ahead.
Follow up. Do you find that ever leaking into your work?
No, I think the inspiration of it does. There's bits and pieces of space opera that, and Ray knows this. There's the killing cold of space. It's the continuum. And when I think of that movie and
Nobody
that the
dream.
effect and the that barrier between life and death is a millisecond, I think that inspires what I keep in the back of my mind when I write my stuff. The genre, yes. The style, no. But there's something really visceral and tangible about that movie, and I think that sticks in my brain when I'm writing. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, my turn.
Off we go.
Ray.
Oh, I didn't do it. What?
Nope. All right, so book, movie, TV show. Draw from anything on this one, all right? So if you could pick a character, an established character, and reverse their role. So pick a hero and imagine
This is good.
imagine turning this hero into a villain in one of your books, and vice versa. I want you to pick a villain also that you would make into a hero in one of your books. Who would they be?
Hero turn into a villain. Book or movie or
Movie, TV show, let's stick in your genre. Let's stick in sci-fi. So sci-fi villain and a sci-fi hero, and reverse their roles.
That's a
All
great
right,
question.
let's start with
That's a
sci-fi
hard
hero.
question.
We're gonna go with Sean Connery, the sheriff in Outland. Currently a good guy, make him a bad guy. Love that character.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's Jesus.
Think
Everybody
about
loves
it.
him, and
Think
he could
about
be
it.
such an asshole. Wow, that's
Can
good.
be such an
Inspiration is
asshole.
coming. You guys are going to end up with whips after that.
Well, come on, we all know. I mean, anybody who's seen Outland know it's a story. They've got the drug going on. He's the good guy. He stands against it. So what happens if he doesn't? What happens if he goes with the flow? We got a guy, his marriage is on the rocks. He decides to make a little extra money. So all of a sudden, he decides to get into it. Yeah.
His kid's a sissy, too. I hated
Hero
his kid.
to villain.
Now, who's the villain to hero? To round out Glace's question.
Oh, if we're gonna stay in sci-fi, we're gonna stay with Battlestar Galactica, not Balthazar, Lucifer. We're gonna do Lucifer, the AI in Battlestar Galactica.
That's an interesting. Oh wow, an AI, good deal.
Here is the one who was in control of exterminating all of humanity. Let's take that one step further and flip that. What happens if he decides that humanity needs to live, but the machines need to die?
Man.
Oh, right. Self-annihilation.
He's going off the chain. He's going off the deep end. Somebody drug Ray immediately. I love that.
Altruistic suicide. That's what that is.
Yeah,
That's no longer
that
an
is.
AI, though. I mean, like, that humanization of an AI would transcend the idea.
They can't even be capable of suicide, and now all of a sudden they would be. That's excellent. Good.
It's good. That's complex. Ray, get on it.
Good job. Good
I'll
question.
start writing that bitch.
Hell yeah.
I will start writing that bitch. All right.
Uh-oh.
All right. It's back to me.
Good. Back to you. Go ahead.
This is for Glaze. Now tell the truth. Don't try to be a shitbird and run away from this. Okay. You come back at this question with the truth. Promise?
Pinky promise.
What is more important to you as an author? 5 stars or book sales?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Currently, what do I value most? What's the thing that I obsess about the most? Okay.
It's a binary answer too, by the way. You can't tell me a little about or my asshole hurts.
I'm gonna give you my answer, and then I'm gonna justify the fuck out of it. Okay. The most important thing is sales, and it's not monetary. That's the simplest way to put it. I don't really like when I look at sales. The thing that satisfies me is the idea of as many people as possible reading the thing. I mean, that's really the goal. If I never got another review, but I sold 100,000 books at a profit of a penny, that would be way more satisfying to me than 1,000
The
five-star.
reader's enjoyment is more important than your pocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The consumption of what I create is absolutely number one priority. Yeah, no, the reviews are great. I mean, seriously. I mean, I keep track of it. But I mean, like right now, all of my books are on sale, and I'm making literally pennies on them. I dropped them as far as I freaking could, and I'm still checking every day, and I'm still getting excited every time somebody picks one up. So yeah, I am primed to answer that question, my friend. 100%.
Good answer.
Ray?
All right, Raymondo.
All right. I probably know the answer to this question, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is going to be post to Glacia. So let's say we're coming up on January 2020. Now, let's say you get to take the entire year. You get to set yourself up in your ideal location to write for the whole year. Walk us through it. What's your location? What are you doing?
Oh, man.
Come on.
You do know the answer to this question. Okay.
I do know the answer to this question.
It would be a mountain cabin with excellent internet, which doesn't exist, but let's create a fantasy land here. Mountain
don't forget the
cabin with
blanket for it.
excellent internet, and something, little, small. I want something with natural lighting. I want something that I can make cozy and small and warm. And I want lots of cheese and chocolate and things of that nature. And yeah, then I would agonize for probably a week over which one of the 5 ideas that I have going right now. And I would probably peck at all 5 of them before settling on the one that was speaking to me the most. And then I would take the deep dive. I would go down the rabbit hole, and you would not see me. I would be putting in 5,000 to 8,000 word days, and I would finish all 5. I would finish all 5.
No cell phone, just a computer, no distraction.
If I didn't have to worry about social media and advertising and regular earning and family and stuff like that, and I could just rabbit hole, I could easily write 6 manuscripts in a year left alone, probably more than that. And I don't mean like novella.
Yeah, no, I know.
100 to 125,000 word manuscripts, I could probably finish 4, I think, if left alone. And that would be my goal. That would be to do I would take advantage of that year. That year would be my bitch.
Oh, I think at like month 12, I'd show up at the door with a blanket, a big beard, having like, big wide eyes going, "Hi, I got manuscripts." I wrote on the wall.
If I could be left alone, she said that about 5 times. If left
I
alone.
could be left alone. Yep. We all like that. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that.
Hello.
Nobody talk to me.
Right.
Nobody call me. Just leave me alone. Yep.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Is it my turn? Okay. Which one do I want to do? Oh! I want to ask both of you guys this question because the answer I think is interesting, and you guys are so different. All right. Compared to the time when you were beginning your first manuscript until now, we all experienced this thing that I'm going to address. Until now that both of you have published a handful of books, how has your author anxiety increased, decreased, changed, morphed, changed focus between when you started and now? And why? What experiences have changed that? Who wants to go first?
Shit, that's a really good question. My anxieties.
Go first. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say no. I still have anxiety. I mean, I thought honestly, I wrongly thought that by the time I reached book 3 and 4, I wouldn't have anxiety. I would know that I was an author. I would know that I was good. I would know I'm an author. I write books. I publish books. But man, honestly, no, there's still anxiety. There's still, I don't want to suck. There's still some days where I look at it and go, I'm going to delete all this. I mean, that doesn't change. It doesn't. There are days
No.
where you're just like, I don't necessarily know if I can do this. You keep doing because you are an author. You have to. You can't stop. You're driven. I could not write. But at the same time, there are days, man, I still have anxiety and doubts just like anybody else.
I think
do.
I
think,
have
yeah.
more now than I did then, easily. And I think it's
Yeah.
because you don't know what you don't know. When I was first starting this process, I thought I knew how this worked.
Uh-oh.
No idea. None.
Right.
You just started pipping on it and you tried to do your best. I didn't know how to write a book, not worth a shit. And I had to beat around on it and smack it around a little bit to get even.
Yeah, there was a keyboard and a face roll.
Hey, Rob, your mic went out.
Yeah, Rob, your mic went out.
Oh, how about now? Is
Go.
it better
That's
now?
much better. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I get it. That
I've
makes
had
sense.
it up
Yeah.
here before. No, experience has beaten me down since my naive first book years. Yeah, and a lot of it's business of publishing. A lot of it is responses that you've gotten. A lot of nice 4.5, 5-star days, and a couple of 1-star. You need to
Star
find another
days,
job
yeah.
days. Oh shit! And it can be pretty hard. And I would say my stress and anxiety level is way up compared to what it was back then. Guaranteed. It's harder now.
It's a different anxiety, though. It is
Yeah.
a bit of a different anxiety because the first anxiety when you're first writing that first book is, do I suck? Am I going to suck? Is anybody going to like it? And then as you put out more books, it's like, well, is this next one going to suck? Am I going to be as good as my last one? Is the guys who like, my rabid fans who like 1, 2, and 3 going to like 4? I mean, are they going to look at 4 and thumb their nose at it,
The first big
It's a different kind
barrier
of
is
anxiety.
I want to be a real live published author. If I could just get a book that was published and a couple of people bought, I'd be happy the rest of my life. No, you'd be happy about 25 minutes. And then that shit starts all over again. So, okay, I got over I'm a published author, which a lot of people would love to be. I understand that. But it doesn't take away the anxiety or the smack around that you probably give yourself as much as anybody else. Stress level for me is way up compared to. It's my turn.
Yep.
And I'm gonna. This is a Glacia question. Glace, are you listening? Are there notes that you keep around, even if they're in the back of your brain, but detail enough that for your characters in your books, they have backstories, gone really well into describing how much detail you have to have in order to keep us, especially in a series. Those backstories are elemental. But in your world, so when these characters that you create in Lark's universe, are there backstories and parts that you have thought of that none of us will ever see? And what are they?
Well,
Stuff that we will never see in those books.
If I told you, then it wouldn't. Then you can see it. No, wouldn't you?
Tell it. But say it.
Do you have such a thing?
Yeah. Yes.
You do.
Yes.
You have lots.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are people with that, and I mean the stuff that we as readers may never ever encounter, but they are absolutely there. They are part of that person's life, and they're in your head. You didn't have to think about it today. You've already thought of it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have stuff for damn near all of my characters that will never come in that have to do with establishing timeline. And, there's petty things like there's like I have a character who broke his arm. And you never know that he broke his arm, but it's important to know that he is damaged in some way, and it bothers him. Like the arm does not function the way it should, and this is a pride thing for him. And so
Colors.
you know why.
Yeah.
I have another character who has a backstory that is very, very painful. And extraordinarily complex, and it has to do with his childhood, his adolescence, and then his young adulthood, and it has to do with where he's from. He is very ashamed of where he comes from. He comes from. Nobody's supposed to know this. Should I tell?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, people ask people. I get grilled on backstory, and so I want to grill you a little.
Okay. This one particular character, he's extraordinarily sensitive and kind. And the reason that he is because he's the antithesis of his upbringing. He comes from a white Dutch family living in South Africa. That's where he grew up.
Oh, shit. Afrikaans.
And so, yes. And so he has a huge amount of guilt because of the association with his family. He's that age. He's 50-ish, and so
he would remember what it was like when Pick Boto was still running the place.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so he was a very confused person. When he went away to university, he went to England and went to university at Oxford, and then ended up coming to the United States as a young man. This is where we meet him. And the thing with him, this is Thomas. The thing with Thomas is that he has an accent that he suppresses because to him, this is the sum of his identity. It's quasi-English, because you know what that white accent in South Africa. It's quasi-English, it's quasi-Dutch.
Yep.
But he's spent, he's closing in on 50, and he's been in the States since he graduated from university, and he did grad school here. So he would have come, close to 30 years ago. And so he's been working on shedding this accent for that long. And when he becomes distressed or excited, it leaks. It leaks in, and he will hear it in his own R's, and it distresses him. And so that nobody will ever know that about Thomas, but it creates a point of anxiety for him that both identifies when he is anxious or excited for the reader.
That's you have described a person as though you read about them or it was a real person. That's exactly where I was going with this. That's really detailed and elaborate, the process that you went through to give him these parts of the past. Took a bit of time, hey? Right? He's very conscious of that.
Time in the African, eh? Yep.
That's okay, good. So that's a great answer.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
You'll never know it. I'll never write a prequel that has Thomas, but I mean,
I think we all have stuff like that, little pieces of our characters that we have written down somewhere that won't make the story, but part of their motivation, Yeah, very much so.
I was asked if that makes me feel like a neurotic freak, because it's like this bizarre, I'm going to create a friend for myself because I can't find any friends. It's somebody it's Harvey and his rabbit. It's this.
No, how many of us talk about our characters like they're real people? I mean, honestly, I have conversations like that too. Yeah,
that's what you do. I don't think you can write effective fiction if you don't. If you're disconnected from them, it's a difficult thing to do.
As an aside, there is nothing more satisfying. Tell me if you've ever had this happen. There's nothing more satisfying than having a fan talk to you about a character and something that has happened as if they are a real live person. Who they know, who they love, who they hate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God.
It spans it too. Some just they want to get this guy's neck in their hands and just squeeze until the bubbles go away, and they get really
how many
passionate about it,
times?
and
Right?
you sit back and go, okay, I created that one right, I guess. Right?
Yeah, what and there are characters you don't even think that, and
No.
that's the thing, you don't even think about it. Like you have your characters, but all of a sudden somebody will come out of left field with something and you're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, they have their own special people they like. It's not even on your freaking radar half the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bizarre when that happens, but yeah, that's
I
a great
have
sign.
one. Yeah, third book. Yeah, people are like, "Oh my god, I love this character." I'm like, "Really? She was a vehicle."
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, exactly. But it's like, wow, I know, you can't track what they're going to do. You have no idea. People will, like, you have your scenes that you have crafted and created and your things that you've done, and they will come out of left field and love a scene that you're like, that was a gimmick. That was like a 5-second thing I thought about in the shower,
What does that
Oh, I
say?
really like that. Yeah.
What does
Well,
that
it
say about
says
us? The
if
thing.
you're creating, yeah, if it's a momentary character, you really ought to be happy with that because you have done as good a job as you can
Right.
do.
You've created a
That
vehicle people
someone
like, and all of a sudden
attaches
they
to a
explode.
Yeah.
momentary. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, Ray, over to you.
Oh man, always fun. Always fun. There's a couple of different ones. Hold on. All right. I'm gonna put Rob on the spot a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go back. You know what? I want Rob to answer the same question I asked Glacia. The year. If you had a place to go, this is telling. This is telling about the type of person you are. You had a year. What would you do? Where would you go? Walk us through it. What would you be? You're gonna write for the whole year. You don't have to worry about responsibility, anything. Go set yourself up. Where are you at?
God damn.
It's a good one, I know. All of a sudden,
Yeah, it is. It's not as easy. I was thinking very smug when Glace was all over it because she knew right away. I would want. Oh shit, that's really hard.
Here we go. I
And
know.
I need
Rabbit hole
this.
on that one for a second.
Damn it. I'm going to. Yes, I do know. I do know. It took me a second to smack myself around. I can tell you exactly where I would go. Antofagasta, Chile.
Chile, no
Wow.
kidding. Why Chile? That's cool.
This particular place, it's a very cool, medium-sized palm tree, green grass city on the Pacific coast. Well, there isn't any other coast, sorry, Chile. But if you walk 25 minutes outside of Antofagasta, you are in the most desolate, lifeless place on this planet, the Atacama Desert.
Mm-hmm.
And I would want the convenience of a medium-sized city, but I want that isolation place. I want to be away from all of the turmoil up here in Europe, in the Middle East. I don't get away from me. I want to go somewhere way down, way away. It would be Antofagasta, Chile. I saved myself. That made me paranoid as shit. So I'm glad I got out of that one. Thanks for making me nervous. What
would your production level be though? Like, keep going all the way that I went. What would you do?
I would want to be out on the fringe of that city. I want to be able to see nothing in some particular direction. Yeah, I've got the convenience of the internet, for example, or I can go to the store when I need to do what I need to do. But out my back door, in my back balcony off my writing office, there's no life, period. It rains 100 years, in between 100 years is when it rains. You can dig down into the dirt 1,000 feet and not find a single microbial form of life. It is the deadest place on this planet.
That's cool.
No one goes there except people who want to, there's miners. Remember the Chilean miners that got stuck underground 10 years ago?
Chilean miners.
That's in the in the Atacama Desert. That is isolation is cool. Where I would go. Yeah. That I don't like deserts per se, but I want to go there. And that's where I would write my ass off without anything coming at me. No weather, no political.
Dude. That's badass.
Who's next?
I like it.
Who's next?
Isn't that special?
Me? It's me? That's next? I thought I just went. Okay. All right, let's see. Satisfaction. Let's go satisfaction. Especially since I just said something about satisfaction. What is I know, right? I can't get no.
I
What's-
can't get no.
I can only hear the Devo version. I can't give me no satisfaction. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
I went off.
Devo. Oh my God.
God.
Oh,
I love it.
oh,
The
you had to
mother's
go.
ball boy. All right, go, Glaze.
Yeah, okay.
What's
Hit
the
us.
this is for both of you again. Yeah, what's the most satisfying fan experience you've ever had?
Oh,
Got some good ones.
I had a lady in Texas that I work with occasionally, and she didn't know I was a writer at all, and stumbled on it and started reading some stuff. And she got to a particular place in one of my books, and she said her husband walked in and said, "What in that? Who died?" And she had tears pouring down her cheeks. And she said, I gasped trying to answer him. I was so bummed and emotional in that moment. And he teases her about it still. It was, she said, I felt horrible for days because of that damn scene. Bingo.
Gotta love writing stuff like that. Oh yeah, you want the ugly cry.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Tear their
Yeah.
heart out.
Yeah,
That's probably my most rewarding reader moment.
Halloween was mine. Halloween was my fan moment. Halloween. Halloween. Lucas is out front. My son Lucas is out front with me on the porch. Old guy comes up with his grandkids, looks at my son and goes, "You know your dad is my favorite fiction author, right?"
Oh,
and I was like,
awesome.
"Fuck yeah!" Yeah. It's just a little thing he did for like 1 second, but it was just like, yeah, I didn't know the guy. I had no idea who he was, but apparently he knew enough in town to know my books. Yeah, he knew me. That was kind of cool. I was
awesome.
Oh yeah, Didn't say it to me. Said it to my son, and I'm like, yeah, that was cool.
You know
because he
what?
already gets excited about the book, so that's just awesome.
Somebody walks up and hands you a bunch of money because you sold a shit ton of books. That is not the same thing. What Ray just described.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not the same. That's the part that
it
doesn't have a price tag.
At the time, it wasn't really a moment that registered until I thought about it just now. It's just the moment that popped up. At the time, it wasn't. It just kind of got lost in the background of everything else. Really, we had a really cool moment at that moment, and then it kind of got lost, and I got just sidetracked and distracted with everything else that was going on Halloween. So I haven't even really talked about it. Yeah,
Here
it
is.
Yeah. It's just those little things that happen that you're like, wow, yeah. That was cool.
Good question, Clay. You were being paranoid about questions. You've been asking really, really good questions. Oh shit, it's over to me.
Good one.
Oh, here we go. This is good. I've got a couple of
We're coming up on 40, so yeah, we got to.
Are we gonna? Do I need to spin this along quickly?
Last one.
All right.
One more round. Yep, one more round.
Okay. All right, Ray.
Oh yeah, Alexa. No, just go ahead.
So this is probably going to be. This will be a little personal. It might be a little gut wrenching, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Ooh.
Who is the one person through your experience as an adult, you started writing, since that very beginning? Who is the one person you would most want to enjoy your work, or conversely, the one person you would do anything to avoid disappointing? Who is that one person along this journey that you think
since the beginning of writing? Okay,
yep.
That's an important factor. Okay, since the beginning of writing,
since you first decided to start going down the path of being an author, is there one person that you just think, God, I really, really hope that person likes this, or I really hope that they don't think it's shit?
My oldest daughter, Erica. That would be who I think since the beginning. The one person who's been really cool about the books, likes them. I really, would probably be devastated if she ever came back and said, "Damn, Dad, that one was shit," you know. And she would. She would be honest with me. So yeah, probably her.
Daughter.
Probably the
Interesting.
biggest person. Yep, my oldest daughter, the one in California. Yep, the one in California. So she would be since the beginning. There are other people who hold sway over me, but that is the big one from the beginning. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. That is good. That is a
Good answer.
Yeah, well, I had to be specific about since the beginning. Yeah. You know,
I was over prepared. I had more questions. I had a really good one for
I know. Well,
Glaze.
as I
Damn it.
said, I didn't think we were going to go this long with it. Wow, we have been knocking them out, guys.
I don't
we-
have
like
another
a section of
great one, Rob. If you have another great one,
I
then you
have one for you,
Yeah, let's
Glaze.
do
Let me
one more.
let
Let's
me
do one
rip
more
off
question.
Glaze.
Grab-
I'll take Glaze's position because it's back to
Oh,
her.
yeah.
If
Well,
you
we got
could
one more.
live,
What's up? We got one more. Let's do it.
if you could live in Lark's universe, in her world, okay,
as her.
would you be her or would you be an ancillary character? Who would you want to be?
I would not want to do what she does. No, no way, absolutely not.
That's awesome.
Fuck
That's such
no.
a cool answer because and I get that too. It's like, would you want to be that person? Some of them, hell no. It's interesting because she is your person. You created her.
Yeah,
Sh-
yeah.
There's a lot of your persona, your whoever you are is in her, and you wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. That's
No way.
That's a great question. I'm glad I asked that.
Oh God, no! I torture that poor woman. I fuck with her.
You really
so
do.
bad.
You're a horrible person.
She is. Oh my God! If there was ever
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
who had an excuse to be traumatized, it would be that poor woman. Now, working as someone such as Miles, I would want to be someone like that. I would, or Thomas, one of the people who uses intellect and education and experience and the sum total of who they've become over the years to work at it. And that has more value and it doesn't socially and personally ostracize them in the same way that Lark is ostracized. It would be a cool place to work in. Honestly, though, I don't think I would ever. I don't know if there would ever be something that would convince me of that. I would have to have. I would be the asshole who's the hardest to convince. I would need. I would need her to like go in and crawl around inside of my head and come out with some piece of information that no one else could know, and that would be hard to come by. Otherwise, I am the utmost of skeptics. And so, yeah, that would be rough. That would be rough on me. But
you are a marionette author, aren't you?
I am. Yes, I am.
String pulling from up in the gallery and
pulling strings. Yes, this is my God complex.
There we go. All right. So we did it. We did. There was worry that we would offend Ray and he would pull the plug on it and say, "You're going down rat holes and I hate your guts. Up your ass," and pull the plug. We had some really
pull the plug.
Really interesting answers. Really cool stuff. We kind of did a little soul bearing. So I'm ready to weep now and sob into my pillow, and I'm going to go have my birthday. Damn.
Yeah.
What am I having
birthday.
Tonight? Thank you.
Happy birthday to Rob!
Birthday to you. That's right. That's a good thing. It's a Rob birthday day. That's right. There he goes with the horns. Hey, cheer everybody else up, just in case you didn't realize it. We are now 34 days till New Orleans.
I didn't know that. Ooh, I'm excited.
Everybody who lives in Jackson Square, you need to get out now while you can. Get out while you can.
We are descending. It's like a hurricane.
Oh, God.
Right.
Okay, guys.
Hurricane Glacia.
Hurricane Glacia. I need to submit my name, because, man, I would make a good hurricane. I would fuck some shit up.
Would definitely fuck some shit up. telling you. Good. No, that was an awesome episode.
Good episode.
Everybody gets to look forward. Now we're gonna start 2-Minute Tuesdays. We're gonna do 2-Minute Tuesday. You want to talk about 2-Minute Tuesday? Let's talk about. We got a bunch of little things that are coming down the pipe. We're keeping a lot of them secret, so we're gonna start unboxing some of these things.